Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Engine, and just before we do, we're going to peek over at Bitcoin, see what's going on there, because Bitcoin is actually doing very well, all things considered. So it's kind of trending closer to 58,000 right now, essentially working as a tentative resistance. Of course, we've got 3 hours left in this trading cycle. If we can get that to close above, we might be able to consider that a sort of support. But at this point in time, it's kind of where we're at, right? So we did have this nice little spike up here, of course, with a followed by a retrace. That was a nice little bull flag breakout. So kind of cool that that happened. Good news is we're much higher than 56,000 where we kind of started the day. So all is well in that sense. So all in all, Bitcoin not in bad shape. Just keep this in mind on the 4 hour chart. We do have some resistances right up about 61,000. There's a tremendous amount of volume accumulation at about 61,000. The 200-day simple moving average is kind of hanging out right there. And of course, the same with the 50 on the 1 day. So again, we got some room to cover, some room to grow here for Bitcoin, but I can say that we'll probably see the price trend somewhere between 57 and 60 over the next few days. And I would venture to guess by next week we should be able to break through that. I'd be surprised if it broke right away, but it would be really nice if it did. As long as we can close that 1 day candlestick above 58 or just say 61,000, we'll be in much better shape. So that is the state for Bitcoin. Let's go and take a look at Engine. And just before we do, I want to let you know I'm not a financial advisor, but I do love teaching people how to trade, right? So my goal of this channel is to help you get to a better place yourself so you can be more self-sufficient. I have a trading community as well in case you're interested in kind of getting a leg up there. I send out signals for every trade that I take so you can learn how to kind of structure your trades. You should always have 3 profit targets, trailing stop loss, trailing take profit targets, and at least at that in a percentage. A lot of different things you may or may not already know. I think you might be filling in the gaps there. So December 1st, we have open enrollment. Just know that's an option for you. And in the meantime, learn as much as you can from these videos because I try my best to help you out there. We also have a public Discord and Telegram channel if you want to kind of consider looking at that. Now, for the 1 day chart here for Engine, let's go ahead and make this just a little bit smaller. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at, of course, the big picture for Engine and what's going on in the smaller picture too. So both moving averages are trailing behind, but the 50 is kind of working its way up. We might see that come closer to the price action soon. We've got a bearish divergence on the MACD. I'm not super concerned with that based on the simple fact that it will show that even if the price isn't going down on the 1 day chart because it's 24 hours, not just 1 or 4 hours. So it is a slower moving time frame. Therefore, we can't really rely on that heavily, but we can rely on the RSI. In other words, between 50 and 70 is a perfect place. So we're still in good shape with RSI. It's not considered to be overbought or oversold. It's good stuff. It's kind of more so neutral in that sense. And neutral is good for Engine right now, okay? And the main reason why is because Bitcoin's still figuring things out. There's still a decent amount of fear in the market that Bitcoin's going to drop the bottom. I don't personally think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see the price continue to progress sideways and up based on the fact that the bottom should be in. There was so much volume accumulation in the last 24 hours of trading, almost more than you saw in the last 5 or 6 days of trading. So that tells me that the bulls, or the whales more so, the bullish whales, they are bullish on Bitcoin right now, and they're trying to drive the price up. That's my speculation. All right, so for Engine, let's take a look at the 4 hour. We're below the 50-day simple moving average. That is kind of reaffirming a resistance at 380. So keep in mind 380 could be the new potential resistance level here soon, and we'll see here what that looks like. The 200 is trailing behind, so that's not a bad sign here. And it does kind of reaffirm the fact that we have a potential support at 315. So all in all, I don't think we're going to see the price break this plane of 354 any longer. That was a one-time thing when Bitcoin was doing terrible, and I think we're going to probably just continue to see higher highs and higher lows. But let's just go ahead and go with some real data, not just speculation. Let's take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. We got some good things going here, right? We're above the cloud. However, we don't quite have the best case scenario here, right? We want the lagging span to be free of price action, so it's going to intersect soon, basically giving us a sell signal, which is like a false positive in this case because we're above the cloud. But we want to have that lagging span be free and clear of anything. So what we want to do is probably have to wait 12 to 24 hours to get there. And I think we're going to see Engine probably prepare to take off soon. In other words, we have the conversion line above the baseline, that's healthy, and of course the price is over the cloud. So we've got basically 2 out of 3 qualifiers here in position, and that's a really good sign. We also, if you look at TD sequential, you can see we're probably in a state of consolidation. We came up to a 7, hit a reset, and we've basically been going sideways ever since. So Engine's kind of at this point where it's trying to figure itself out. The bulls are trying to, buy, and the bears are trying to sell, and it's kind of just this battle between those two parties essentially, and it's just going straight sideways. This is healthy. This is fine. I like to see this based on the way that Bitcoin has been behaving recently, because it's not like this crazy little sell-off, right? Because a lot of these coins, unfortunately, they're the first ones to go when Bitcoin does well, based on the fact that they're going to take their profits and put it back into Bitcoin. That can happen. So Enjin is actually doing quite well, in my personal opinion, considering the circumstances. Okay. But again, I always recommend dollar cost average, because something like this, these coins, they have tremendous potential, and I don't think we've even seen how high this could very well go. But the key takeaway here is that we're in all-time high territory. We're getting closer again, right? Technically, we're below the previous all-time high. We lost that as a support level. So one thing to understand here is this 399, just basically $4, is a very, very strong resistance level. So if we can get the one-day candlestick to close above 399, just say $4 even, if we close that on the one-day candlestick, we're going to be in a much better position. What we should expect to see too is for the price, when it were to come above that level, it'll come up, it'll reject out the next closest Fibonacci retracement level. It should consolidate right around that support and then take off. That's a very, very common characteristic of breaking an all-time high and essentially continuing past that point. So just be prepared for that. There's a strong likelihood once we get up to say, between 4 and 420, that'd be a great place to maybe consider adding to your position, or consider taking a long position to the upside, because you should be able to come from what, $4 even to at least this recent all-time high, 20% higher at 484. Okay, so those are some pretty good little quick gains you could likely make, because this Enjin is a very good momentum coin. It carries momentum and it keeps going. So once you start seeing it taking off, it's best to get in and to ensure that you are checking those boxes. We need Ichimoku Cloud to give us a little bit more better data, right? We just need a little bit more time. I would say 24 hours or less, we're going to see that. So by the time we cover this tomorrow, I'm speculating the price will be higher. How much higher, I don't know, but just know when it breaks that all-time high of $4, it'll likely consolidate around $4 and then continue. That's where we want to strike. Okay, so I'm just going to set my alert for $4 and go ahead and go from there. All right, so we'll go ahead and see what happens with that and go from there, of course. Thank you so much for joining me here. Obviously, join my Patreon community if you consider doing that. Spots available in the first. But more importantly, keep watching my videos. I'm going to start rolling out with some training videos on how to use these indicators. I just put one out actually on how to set up your trading view the same way that I have it, right? In other words, all the same indicators that I use day in and day out. That's kind of an instructional video on how to go through that. So check that out in your own time, of course. But I do appreciate you watching here, and we'll look forward to seeing the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks again.